Okay, so hello everyone and welcome to this webinar this evening, which is really all about giving you a taste of our upcoming program, The Insecure Thinker. But it's not just about that this evening. We're also really looking at what is insecure thinking? Where does it come from? Why am I even bringing this to you? Considering that my background and the work I have been doing has been very much emphasized around helping people build their coaching business, helping people get clear on their message, helping people transition from their day job into doing something that they'd love. So there's a bit of juice in today's topic, and of course there's also the direction towards helping you to make a decision between today and tomorrow with regards our course. Some of you I know are already on the course, and you're here today to probably experience more, learn more, find out a bit more. And that's fine too, and today I do want to open up the lines for some questions from you. If you'd love to ask me a question, if you want to get a little bit of coaching on something, or if you're just curious about the course itself. So where I'd like to begin is really, let me share a bit of my journey and what I've seen in particular in the last year to 13, 14 months. And, when I started out on this journey, if I go back a bit, I was in a day job, as many of you know, that I wasn't fulfilled in and wasn't satisfied in. And I really wanted to do something else. I knew something else was possible. I didn't know what it was. I didn't know how I would do it. But it really struck me that life was not supposed to be lived exhausted, burnt out, stressed, lacking in money and energy. And I made the decision to make the change, to jump out of the day job, to make the leap. And I had no idea that my journey would take me into the world of coaching, into the world of transformative coaching in particular, into the world of really being able to help other people access their power, their potential, their inner confidence, their message. I had no idea that would happen. But I had a faith and a trust in myself that something would work out, that it was worth the risk. And I didn't get too lost in my own insecure thinking at the time, which often showed up in the form of, who do you think you are? You can't do this. You're going to go broke. No one's going to help you. Who's going to want to work with you? I didn't get too lost in that. Let's say it wasn't enough. There wasn't enough of that being given attention that it got me off course. And so when I began my coaching business, I had a lot of fun. It was really natural and easy for me to simply put myself out there in the best way I could at the time. And at the time that looked like a blog and a small event and, connecting with people on social media, since I was not in a country where I spoke the language. And I had I didn't have a lot of seriousness about it. They say, well, you should be serious and then you'd make it, and you better be serious about what you're doing and then, you'll get somewhere. Well, I wasn't serious at all. And I think that's what stood to my favor. I was enjoying myself. I was intent on helping people. But I wasn't all caught up in it needing to be absolutely perfect and it needing to look a certain way. Now, over time, let's say across the first 2 years in my coaching business, I did really well. I still do really well, but I did really well in a kind of way that I didn't understand was going on. You know, I was doing well because I was being driven by, yes, a lack of insecure thinking in terms of it needing to be a certain way, but I was being driven by desires and wanting to fulfill desires. You know, I wanted to have the 5-star lifestyle. I wanted to have the first class travel. I wanted to, make a certain amount of money. And I noticed somewhere along the way that I was getting tired again, similar to how I was tired in my day job. And at one point I thought to myself, well, why am I doing this if it's just like the day job? Like, why am I doing this if it's going to put me back in a place of kind of exhaustion and tiredness and all of that? Well, I didn't know it at the time, but I was operating out of insecurity. I was operating from a place of perhaps fear, and perhaps what we might call grace with a small g. Now, it didn't mean my coaching wasn't good. My coaching was effective. I had more people getting more results in less time. So my coaching was very stable, but my operating system, my reason for being and creating was coming from this place where I thought happiness and approval and security was built from those things, from the 5-star lifestyle, from the experience of first class travel, from the approval of my coach, from the approval of the public, from Forbes magazine. Like, that's where I thought my security was going to come from. And often I would reach my goal, I would reach my objective, I would do my 6 figures and cross the line, and, you know, like, it would all be great for a moment. And then I noticed myself kind of tired again. And so there came a point where I literally took myself off the hamster wheel and removed myself, if you like, from the world of coaching that I was in. And I took some time to recalibrate and think about what I wanted to do next. And I had no idea what I wanted to do next. But I knew that I wasn't at home. Here I was, loving coaching, of course, but not really at home in my experience of life. Sort of starting to see the similar symptoms that I'd once had in my day job, only this time I just had more money and a nice hotel suite to lap it up in. And so, you know, the soul started to crave, its evolution. And that's the great thing, it tends to do that on its own without you even needing to try. And so I was led to discover a whole new way of operating. I was led to uncover grace with a capital G. And I was led to see where my experience of life and security and happiness and fulfillment and purpose was really coming from. And I came upon something that has been transformative for me. It's why so many people continue to write to me and say, wow, you seem really different than how you used to be. And I am. Life is easier. Business is more natural and graceful. Energy is there. And so what I saw was that I had spent my life, probably my whole life, operating from a place of stress and fear, anxiety, discouragement. And I'd gone on this roller coaster of trying to build things that would stop me from feeling any of that. And of course, they did temporarily. But when I started to see that I was coming from a place of insecurity, that actually I was okay whether or not things were looking perfect, whether or not I was in 5-star restaurants or hotels, whether or not I was crossing the 6-figure line as a coach. It really started, the world started to look different for me. And I saw that we have a choice in operating from insecurity or confidence. And confidence is our natural default. If you look at small babies when they're born, they're fully confident. Most of us are fully confident until somewhere along the line, we become self-conscious and we start to bring in the thinking that we hear or we get conditioned to or we experience. And from that place, suddenly it really looks like our confidence is gone. Suddenly it looks like we need tools and techniques to get us back to our confidence. And what I saw for myself in the last year is that confidence is innate. It's within. It's what we have when we drop out of self-consciousness and personal thought. And I saw that we're only ever living in the feeling of our thinking. And when we're living in a feeling of stress and fear and insecurity and you know, anxiety and panic and burnout and kind of freak out, discouragement, then that's really good feedback that of where our thoughts are. And most of the time, that's feedback that our thoughts are in the default mode of insecurity. So as I have moved beyond operating out of insecurity, as I have moved beyond my insecure thinking, I have seen what a transformation that has led to in my being, in my life, in my business. And I've also seen how it's impacting my clients. I've seen how this piece of the puzzle, what I call the missing link to success, is so fundamentally important, because when you're operating from your confidence as opposed to your insecurity, you can leverage anything you do. You have more energy, you have more radiance, you have more presence, you have more personal power. You've got that kind of invisible marketing that people just want more of. And it's not actually having all your ducks in a row. That's the main thing. It's, you know, it's being able to operate in this world from a place of your own well-being and groundedness. I call it grace with a capital G, Robin with a capital R, Kareen with a capital K, right? Like, it's being able to share from that place that has the most impact. Whether you're trying to sell a program, whether you're trying to make a decision about your career or your life, whether you're sitting in a job interview wondering whether or not you're going to do okay. When we're in that place within us, that innate confidence within us, and we're not getting caught up in the insecure thoughts, the habitual thinking that quite frankly shows up to get in our way, shows up to prevent us moving forward, we naturally start to spot and act on opportunity. And that is the, that is what a business is built on. Spotting and acting on opportunity. And so, as I have seen my own clients, not just myself, but as I've seen my own clients get connected to that innate confidence, get curious about their thinking, get beyond their insecurities, I have seen them start to produce and create things in a much shorter space of time. I have seen them be able to leverage any marketing tools that I share or that they discover for themselves. I have seen them confidently go out and sell their programs, offer their services without a lot of procrastination, delay, and overanalyzing. And so I really do believe that the missing link to any success is in operating from this space within you. It's in moving beyond the insecurities. And for those of you that are wondering, what are the insecurities? Well, they're personal to you, but from what I've heard for myself and my clients, they show up in the form of, am I ready? Can I really do this? Who's going to want this? Am I making the right decision? As one of my, I think it was one of the women I spoke to yesterday, she said it's like having two different angels on your shoulders, and one is propelling you and wanting you to go forward and knows that, you can do it. And the other one is constantly telling you that you're not worthy, you can't do it, look at the obstacles, be realistic, you don't have what it takes, you got a story of burnout, you're never going to make it. So your own personal insecure thinking will show up in your own way. For me, it was a constant stream of, oh my God, am I doing this right? Do I look okay? Is the style correct? Are they getting it? Am I getting it? I had a lot of that sort of image stroke, style stroke, getting it perfect scenario going on. That was my default mode for insecure thinking. And then it shifts and changes. I've got it in different areas, but that's I've moved beyond. And because I've moved beyond that, I'm creating stuff now and getting visible with it easily, without a lot of thought, without a lot of procrastination. Because when you drop a life's worth of personal thought, when you drop a life's worth of insecurity, you're freed up. You're energetically available to just get on with the ideas that occur to you. You're open to hearing the ideas, feeling the ideas, acting on the ideas, spotting the opportunity. And the rest of the time, when you're in that insecure place, you're finding obstacles. You're seeing obstacles. You're not seeing opportunity. You're doubting yourself. You're wondering what to do and how to do it. You're not trusting yourself. An easy example for people with, where insecurity shows up a lot for people is around the area of money. It did for me too, and it still does sometimes. But then I remember at one stage, I was in this fabulous hotel. I had a lot of money in my bank account, and I was looking at first class travel or whatever. And it was about the third time I'd asked them to switch rooms for me. I mean, talk about a prima donna. Like, I just, for some reason, I really thought my well-being was being affected by the room I was in. So I'd asked to swap and all the rest. And I found myself constantly frustrated. Like, why aren't they getting this right? Why, like, I couldn't enjoy the experience of being in this fabulous hotel, flying there first class, having this money in my bank account. I couldn't enjoy it because I was so caught up here in a storm about, you know, how it should look and what it should be and why my well-being was getting affected. And then I remember being on the other side of the world and I hit zero in my bank account. And I remember not freaking out at all. I wasn't in a 5-star hotel. I didn't have any money or opportunity coming in. And I was really at peace. And from that place of innate confidence that I had reached, regardless of my bank account, regardless of whether or not I was in a 5-star hotel, regardless of my outer world, from that place, an idea occurred to me. And I had a deadline too. Like I had this deadline where I had to literally have £7,000 in my account within, like, I think it was 48 hours. And an idea occurred to me and I just got acting on it. I just got moving with it. And then an opportunity arrived, something I hadn't even considered. And between the two of those things, the money was there and on time. Now, the reason I'm sharing this with you is twofold. When I could have been really insecure, the majority of the world would have been freaking out. You're on the other side of the world. You've nothing coming in. You can't pay you basically to stay any longer. And you've got a deadline to meet or else your credit is going to be completely cut off. The old me operating out of insecurity would have freaked out, would have panicked, would have been crying, would have like been in dire straits. But see, she was no longer driving the system. The anxious me was gone. Mostly because I had seen that and recognized when I was in insecurity versus when I was in confidence. And so the confident me just was at peace with the situation and had a faith and a knowing and a trust that something would occur, and lo and behold, it did. And I use the example of money because, you know, that was a big one for me. I really thought money was where my well-being and security came from. Now, it's not that I no longer love 5-star, no longer want to travel first class, no longer want to make money. No way. But the difference now is that, just have to meet someone here. The difference now is that I get to create those things and experience them and enjoy them. But if they're not there, I'm still okay. I'm still well. I'm still secure. I'm still able to come up with ideas. I'm not living life anxiously worrying about making sure my outer circumstances meet my inner need. And that's the thing about operating from confidence. Your needs and preferences kind of start to lose their grip and life becomes enjoyable. It's not that you don't have desires to create something. I still want my beautiful big 5-star home one day. Like, it's going to come because it's a desire. It's been there long enough. But they lose their grip and tension around that being where your security, happiness, well-being comes from. Similarly, for those of you building a business, the grip on getting clients and making enough money, it starts to lose its grip. And ironically, you start finding that opportunity and acting on opportunity becomes the norm. The world starts to look less serious and heavy, and the world of business starts to look less tough and hard. And so there's something about where you're coming from as you make your decisions, as you do your job interviews, as you speak to your prospects, as you market your programs. That is so much more important than the how you do it and how you answer it. And I help people all the time with the how. But it fascinated me that some people got results and others didn't. Well, the missing link is, where are you coming from when you're implementing the how, when you're writing your blog posts, if you're writing at all, when you're getting in front of the camera, if you're even at that stage, if you're considering yourself changing and you're at a crossroads, where you're coming from internally. Is it insecurity or is it confidence? And where you're coming from is what people feel from you. It's what people get from you. Now, this was radical for me to experience and to see, because, see, I always thought, well, if you just get the message right, and if you just get the words right, and if you get the sales page correct, and if you get the website looking good, if you kind of just do what, you know, you're supposed to do and you put it out in the world regularly, then that's it. But that's not enough. And the reason I know it's not enough is because, you know, you can go copy my system and it won't work for you. It worked for me because it came from me. It came from a different place. Now, your system, the one that's going to work for you, the best decision for you, is going to come from you. It doesn't mean you can't learn people's processes in between, but you might just find that sometimes people's processes have results and sometimes they don't. And so there's something about the place you're coming from within that dictates everything, including the leveraging of any decision you make, marketing you put out, ideas you create. And it's been so huge in my own life and business that it would have been really, I believe, out of integrity for me to keep this part of the process quiet or behind closed doors or just for my private clients. To simply sell an aspect of success, the piece I'm really passionate about, helping you with your message, helping you get visible, helping you get your first clients, helping you create the career or the business that you'd love. To just keep it at that, that was working really well for me. It still does. But if you're going to create something with long-term success there, and even if it's not about business and career, let's just talk about life in general. Operating from your innate confidence as opposed to your insecure thinking is what's key. And out of all the people I've worked with, and a life's worth of experience for myself, when it really comes down to it, people often know what they want to do and what they need to do. People can get the tools on the how-to. But the reason only 5% of people are successful with tools like that, the reason only 5% of people are actioning that, is because 5% of them are not lost up here, not operating out of insecurity. They're operating from that grounded, centered, confident place where they can leverage anything they do. And so ultimately, that's a bit of my journey and why I'm bringing this piece of the puzzle to the forefront at this time. I've been working on this with private clients for months now, alongside obviously the structural, tangible pieces that are needed when you're going to start something new, particularly a new direction with your career or business. But there's something fundamentally different about me and my experience, and there's something fundamentally different available for you to experience if you're struggling right now, if you're lost in thought, if you've been procrastinating, if you've lost your sense of direction or joy, if life looks limited and lacking in opportunity. If life looks full of opportunity, but you're simply not acting on it or not knowing how to act on it. If you're at a crossroads and you don't know what to do, there's something here for you in this particular program that I'm offering that will support you in transforming how you do life and how you do your career and how you do business and how you do your relationships and how you do everyday living with yourself. Imagine a gentler experience of being you. That's what I feel I've created here within myself. And I did not think that was possible. You know, I didn't know that that was an option. I just thought the constant berating, criticism, procrastinating, self-punishing, fearing, anxious, nervous, grace was that was real. That was just me. That was how it was. But there's so much more on offer when you are connected to that confidence, that place within you. And so a big part of the program that's on offer today and at the moment, and certainly any private work with me, as my clients will agree, is in being in a space together where you have the opportunity to settle down the storm here, to settle down the turbulence that's going on up here, and to start to connect to home within, and to start from there to leverage anything you decide to do. You will start acting on things that you may have been procrastinating on for months. You will get your answers to anything that's been spinning in your head that you're unsure about right now. You will experience a nicer experience of being you, of doing business. You will enjoy selling your programs. Everything gets better from this space. And for those of you that are kind of thinking, well, that all sounds too good to be true, you're exactly the person that needs to consider being in this and with us at this time. Because that was exactly my default too. Yeah. That sounds like something I'll get to later in life. Let me go over here and see how my Facebook ads are going to pan out this week. Let me go over here and worry a bit more about money. And hopefully if I worry a bit more about money, that will make more money come in. I mean, we've got it all back to front, girls and boys. We really sometimes, well, certainly, or maybe I'm speaking for myself here, but I really thought the more effort equaled the more result. And actually, effort that's put in an area that you feel good about, confident about, you don't have a lot of turbulence going on about, that's where your result is. That's where your leveraging is. And what that's meant, certainly for me, is it's meant less work and more result, not more work, more result. It's also meant I still get lots of thinking, don't get me wrong, but it's meant a quieter experience up here, which has led to greater clarity, better decision making, and an easier life. So if you have been considering, what's blocking me? What's stopping me? Why am I still not doing what I say I want to? Or if you have a project that you want to get off the ground before the end of the year, or if you have a bit of a knowing about your next steps, but you're not quite there yet with taking them, then this exploration, this telecourse can be really, really helpful for you. I'll share with you that, during the course of our 6 weeks together, we're going to be delving deep on different areas here. But, I can give you an example of us starting this Thursday, actually. We're going to be starting with, looking at the source of all insecurity and looking at how to recognize the difference between operating from confidence and operating from insecurity. We're going to identify your insecure thinking, so you can really get up close and personal with what's running the show for you. And that's important to do right from the outset, because if you're just habitually thinking and working from a place of insecurity, right now you don't even know what the other side is like. You don't even know what you're doing to yourself. So we're starting with that. When we'll move into week 2, the following Thursday, and we'll look at innate and natural confidence, what it is, where it comes from, and how to be in it more of the time. So we'll look at, how do you operate from that place? How do you be in that place of a quieter mind and more certain direction and a clear vision more of the time? And what do we want to do with that confidence? When you're operating from there, you're going to have your insights, you're going to have your ideas. So what do you want to create from that place between now and the end of the year? It could be that you simply get an idea that occurs to you. You get a solution. You get direction with your next steps because you're coming from that place of certainty. You're not caught up here in the insecurity any longer. It's almost like moving from head to heart. And then in week 3, we'll move on to getting out of your own way, becoming visible to the people who need you. That was a big one for me. Man, I love to hide behind photo shoots on a blog. Well, when I'm not caught up here in my insecure thinking about myself, it seems I do video more often. I get more visible more often. I get opportunities to be visible more often. Well, that's where opportunity comes from. There's no point being the world's best kept secret. So week 3 will be all about you and how to get out of your own way and get your projects off the ground. Get your decisions made. Get visible to the people who need you. And whatever needs to happen for you, be it getting clarity on some areas to pull that off, is fine too. Week 4 will be about other people, because let's face it, you're not alone in this world. You're going to either be interacting with customers, or you're going to be interacting with prospects, or you're going to be interacting with family members, relationships. So we'll be looking at ways that you can develop deep connection with others, and particularly how to handle comparison thoughts, because that's a form of insecure thinking too. Oh, well, she's doing it already, so I don't think I should do it. Or she's not doing it the way I would do it, so I'll judge her on that. I'll make myself better and her worse, or I'll make me better, her better and me worse. So handling those comparison thoughts that frankly stir up in women and create a block, as opposed to what it does in men. It seems to stir them up and foster competition and get them out into the world. I mean, I know this after 7 years teaching teenage boys. You get comparison going with men and they're moved into action. You get comparison going with women and we're moved into being invisible, playing small, and not taking any action. Well, you can forget that, because when you see what's really going on, you won't so much be giving attention to your comparison thoughts. I'm not saying you won't ever have them, but you'll likely pay a lot less attention to them and just get on. Week 5 will be an important week for those of you in business, or those of you considering a new career. Some of you might be entering a new career. So that will be very supportive to you, and in terms of being able to function highly in your new role, or in a new role that you might be going for. For those of you in business, it'll be extremely important to you around the area of message, selling, and service. This is an area that people get caught up in. Well, I can't ask for that much money, or I don't know what I'm offering, or maybe I'm not saying my message right. Like there's opportunity for exploration and clarity in that week. And there will be a specific emphasis on money, probably throughout the course. I think it'll come up a lot, but I'm particularly looking at it in week 5, how you can stop spinning on the money subject and actually get making it. And in week 6, we'll be looking at embracing change. You'll be finishing with embracing change and ending worry about the future. Most insecure thinking comes up from a focus on future. What might happen? What could happen? What if this happens? What will happen a year from now? And so week 6 is really dedicated to supporting you in embracing change in any area. It could be by the end of this course, you're ready to change your career. It could be by the end of this course, you want to change direction with how you've been living. It could be by the end of this course, you want to just, change a habit or a dependency, change a relationship, change an environment. Who knows what change will present itself to you. But we'll be helping you with that, and we'll be ensuring that worry is not something that starts to get in your way about now or the future. So there's a lot of juice in this program. There's a lot of potential for you to not only see something new, not only experience a new way of doing your career, your business, and living and being in this world. But there's an opportunity for you to really confidently come across as your true self, at home in yourself, no longer caught up in all the turbulence that's been keeping your energy low, that's been keeping you stuck, that's been keeping you stuck on a sofa, making you sick in some cases. And so the format of each week is that we'll obviously cover the topics I've addressed, and we'll do that through a 90-minute call each Thursday. And the call will be recorded, but during the course of the call, I'll be opening the lines to take your questions and to give you coaching on your specific area. So there'll be opportunity to get up close and personal with your specific situation. And in between, there'll be the opportunity to connect on the Facebook group with the other women. We have a beautiful group of women from around the world joining us. We're a small, intimate group, so there's plenty of time for everybody. And then I'll be checking in and out, of course, with you throughout the week on the group. And you know, as long as you tag me in a post, I'll know to respond to you. So there's opportunity in between. And right now we have 3 spaces left on the group for this program. It's priced at £547, and we have 2 beautiful bonuses that will come with it, 2 surprise bonuses that you'll hear about during the course. If you would love to take part, if you know that you want to really get something going between now and the end of the year, and that most importantly, you're ready to operate from a space of clarity and confidence, you're ready to move beyond your insecure thinking, then I would encourage you to go ahead and pay now by visiting www.citygirlconfidence.com/sales, SALES/thinker. And if you have a question or two, of course, feel free to email me. And kind of just notice what might be coming up for you now. Maybe you would love to engage in this support. It's certainly an affordable way to get going compared to, say, private coaching or intensives. But it's just notice what might be coming up for you, you know? If you're hearing that kind of, oh, am I ready? Can I really do this? You know, is now the right time? Just start to notice that your wisdom will guide you to the truth, even if you get all of that insecure chatter going on. You have an inner knowing within you. We all do. That lets us know what to do beyond any of that noise. So if this speaks to you, I'd love to have you. I don't know that we'll run it again. That's the truth. This is the first time we're doing it. And it's particularly important, perhaps, for those of you that have maybe not really done or created what you'd hoped to in 2016, and you're looking at the remaining sort of 3 months of the year and wanting to put it to good use. You know, you can expect to walk away when you're not lost in that insecurity, when you're not stuck in that turbulence. You can expect to walk away with clarity, with a decision made if you're spinning on one, with a project off the ground if that's what you're bringing to us, with direction, with greater peace and well-being, with a radiance and an energy that people will feel and see from you, with stronger relationships to others, with a presence that when you are visible, you're making impact, and so much more. I could probably go on for days about this, but if you're in that place where nothing has been working for you, or you've just not been getting yourself off the ground in whatever format, or you've been spinning, or you've been anxious, stressed, you're discouraged, then I can't think of a more graceful way for you to be supported and put your feet in the water, and simply get moving if this format speaks to you. So let's open up the lines and see if there are some questions or comments, or anyone that wants to say anything, or you can type it in the chat box if you prefer. I'd love if you wanted to come on, but it's entirely up to you. And yeah, let me hear what you're hearing, because you're the people I'm bringing this to. So to come on, you can unmute your line. I think you can also unmute your video. So if you have something, Sandra, I think you unmuted your line. Is that?
Yeah, I just plugged in headsets because the mic in my computer is broken and I have to get it repaired, but I just thought I'd try the headsets. Hi, Grace. Hi, everybody. It's really wonderful to be here.
Hi, darling. You too. Are we able to start your video, or you can't do that?
Oh, I can do a video. Sure.
Are we confident enough to do that? There we go.
You know what? Yay! It doesn't matter. Yay! Awesome. I'm in my area of like my brand, which is black and white. So, you know, it's all good. Yeah, that's not my issue about being out there. Yeah, I mean, I'm very particular about, you know, my branding and my consistency in that, but that's just who I am. You know, I've always been like that. It's not something that I fight or I push. You know, I was born that way. You know, I have this eye for design and style. My thing is, you know, that I typed in there is that I've been very aware that, you know, I look at obstacles and I see, you know, oh, you know, this and this and this. And what's crazy is that, you know, I've had 2 very successful clothing lines, and, you know, I've sold all around the world and, you know, all of that kind of stuff. So I'm born to be an entrepreneur. And then I don't know if it's because, you know, getting older and like you start, you know, seeing like more things that can go wrong. And then of course there's the comparing thing and, you know, all of that like crap and, you know, global stuff, garbage that goes in your head. So myself in one area with the opportunity, with the obstacles, and like, oh, you know, this is, how am I going to do this? And it's too much work and I don't have enough time, but then an opportunity comes up and then I go for it. So, you know, it's like a split personality.
So what's the, well, what's the issue with that? Tell me what's up with that.
Being in those obstacles can really, you know, kind of block you from going a little bit further, especially, you know, procrastination can step in. I mean, for example, I'm working on a new video, and the video I'm doing, I've got an intern that is a media video person, very talented. Write the script, and it was very, very hard to get into it. And so intuitively I thought, okay, I'm going to watch a video of Tom Ford because I really like his style and his aesthetic. So that was doing something fun. And then it was getting like, oh, okay, I really like the style of that. So I know that when I'm listening to my intuition, and I think it's that thing about what you were saying, you know, we think that we have to work so hard and like, you know, not enjoy what we're doing. And I guess I'm in that like metamorphosis stage where I'm still like, you know, pushing away like the old blocks and the old patterns and moving into the new, you know, I don't know, you know, like it's just, but it's these things because I'm doing something new that I've never done before. And
yeah, and that's a brilliant point, actually, Sandra. You know, when we're starting out on something new, it tends to tweak our insecurity even more. Like we tend to think there's, you know, a right way to do it, a best way to do it, a greater way to perform. And we go and we look for inspiration from other people, which does two things. It either winds us up and makes us even more insecure, or it gives us a feeling of, yeah, I can do this. But here's what I find really interesting. You knew from your intuition, your innate confidence, let's call that, your wisdom, what to do. And then you went into a whole storm of thinking and overcomplicated the matter. Like I heard you say, I heard my intuition and it was ... Well, ... full stop. Everything else you add to the intuition is unnecessary. So just notice where you're winding yourself up.
I lost your connection for a second.
Oh, sorry, darling.
No, it's me. It's me.
Where did I get to?
You were said ...
Well, I was saying, so you listened to your intuition, which you did, and it told you to do whatever it told you to do. And I said ... full stop. Full stop. Once we hear that wisdom, full stop. Then we go and we complicate it and we overthink it and we overcomplicate it. But if we just stick to what we know to be true, which you called intuition, that's enough.
Well, it was interesting because my intuition was to watch the Tom Ford videos. And after I started watching, I was like, oh yeah, this is how I want it to look. And like, I love him. And like, you know, like I want to be him. I mean, you know, he's just like so cool. And
you got inspiration. Yeah,
I know, I got the inspiration, and that kind of, you know, got the ball rolling, because that was my first thought, like, you know, go and watch his videos and see how he did them and how he filmed them, or, you know, because I like his style.
Perfect. Right? Like, so you got inspiration from that. You followed your knowing.
Mm-hmm.
Full stop. Now see where that takes you. See where it takes you next. You know, if you were operating from insecurity, you would have either avoided the Tom Ford video, or you would have seen it and it would have put you into shutdown.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was just too much.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not hearing, like, I'm hearing someone who is starting to operate from her innate confidence. Now, it's not going to happen on your time frame, as we know.
Mm-hmm.
but you can trust that one breadcrumb at a time, one following of the confidence, the intuition, as opposed to the insecurity at a time, it's going to go somewhere. And look at you, you've been on live radio this week in Los Angeles, all from getting connected to that innate confidence and operating from there. People are feeling it from you already, Sandra. So I know you're talking about obstacles, but I also know that it's not really going on. That's just there at the moment. And the more you can keep yourself moving in the direction that you have been, which is what you're doing naturally when you're not lost in the turbulence, the more opportunity you'll simply be acting on. It's coming to you. And that's when you know you're on track. It's coming to you. So I hope that's been helpful. And I know you've joined the course. So I know you're going to...
Yes, I'm very excited about it.
I know you're going to join us on Thursday, and I'm really looking forward to having you there.
Yeah, me too, Grace. It's going to be good.
Thanks for your question. Lots of love.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, so yeah, I mean, that's kind of an example, ladies and gents, of, Sandra's a really good example actually of someone who started to operate ever so gently in the direction of who she is. And as a result of that, she is starting to experience opportunity. It doesn't mean she doesn't see obstacles, doesn't mean her vision completely changes and it's all sunny, but it's kind of like, part of what we'll be doing in this course is reminding you and showing you what's true, not what you think is true. So so thanks to Sandra. Is there another question out there? Is there a comment? Is there a feedback, something you want to know more on the course, or something that you're personally experiencing or currently feeling insecure about? Is there anyone else out there that would love to share? You can unmute your line, or you can put your hand up, or you can type in the chat box if we've still got signal. So I'll give a minute or so.
Grace, it's Rhonda.
Oh, Rhonda. Okay, hold on, darling. Let me see where you are. Okay, great. There you are. Thank you. Okay, let me put your video there. Hello, how are you?
I'm good. I just wanted to piggyback on the last comment and just ask, do you think sometimes when we've been successful at things we've done before, and then we get into a new venture, which is something that we probably haven't done before, it's like a new area for us, but we've been so accomplished in another area, it really raises up that insecurity.
That's such a good
You know
question.
what I mean? Like you just said, like the new.
Uh-huh.
You just said when we get into something new, right?
Yes, and I think that I was thinking about this last night, Rhonda, because it seems to me on my radar lately, I'm noticing people and seeing films and reading articles about people who have been really, really successful and then lost it all. And how they're starting from scratch. And I would imagine that brings a level, I'm not saying that in your case it was losing it or anything, but I would imagine it brings a level of pressure, a level of, I would imagine there's an extra layer of insecure thought, because you've had the experience of success, and there's potentially a part of us that feels like, well, that's where I've got to reach for again, or that's what I'm going to measure my new success upon. And that can keep us out of the enjoyment of getting there. That can keep us out of the journey of just being in this for the sake of creation, well-being, success, purpose. So,
and I mean, so many people will have second careers, so in my case, this will be a second career, or doing something for, for legacy purposes, but we want to do it at the same level of which we did our career, which then takes the enjoyment out of it. We're trying to measure it against that other standard.
You see, there's something beautiful about being a beginner.
Yeah.
There's something, and so, there's something for you to see, Rhonda, and thanks for bringing it up, something for everyone to see about coming into this new phase in your career or your business as a fresh start. If you're going to come in with that layer, and it's understandable that people would, but if you come in with that layer of thought around what happened in the past, I would imagine you would spend your time pretty wound up if if things didn't look the same, turn out the same, get to the same level in the same time frame. And so to answer your question, an excellent question, yeah, I think people in this position probably do come in with an extra layer of pressure in, form of insecurity. Sandra is agreeing with me on the chat box. She's saying, so true, that was me. She had a big career in fashion before she's changed directions. So I think so, yes, but here's what I believe. I believe that you can have a fresh experience, a new experience. I believe you can do this in a way that is enjoyable. And I actually believe when you're operating from the place of innate confidence, you can have even bigger results than you had when you were in a former career where you probably did pretty well operating from a different place.
I agree.
So that's it in a nutshell, Rhonda.
No, and I agree, because I mean, when you said when you do something new that you've never done before, it rises it up. I went, oh yeah.
Yeah.
And then Sandra talked about thing, and I went, oh, so it really ding, ding, ding. It really hit home.
Yeah, and this is why questions are so wonderful to have, ladies and gents. When you open up the line for when someone has the confidence to come on and ask a question, Sandra started us off, here's Rhonda. It really opens it up for other people too. So thank you for that. And that's also the power of being in a small group, if you like, ladies. We're going to have this opportunity weekly to open up the lines and really see something new, because other people are there asking a question that maybe you hadn't thought of, but it sparks something in you. So great question, Rhonda, and I'm certain you can have a fresh experience and even bigger results.
Yeah, and thank you. I look forward to the journey.
You're welcome. Thank you. Bye. I'll go ahead and mute Rhonda's line. Is there anyone else out there that's wanting to either come on and have a chat, or comment, or feedback, or question, or maybe you've heard something in Sandra and Rhonda's questions? Now is the time. I know we've probably gone over a little bit, but if you do want to come on, or you want to type in the chat box, feel free to. Oh, I've got a message from Karine. I hope I'm saying your name right, Karine. What time is the course on Thursdays? The course is at 5 p.m. Local time on Thursdays. So there is a recording of each course that you get more or less immediately after the call. But if you want to be on the live calls, it's happening at 5 on Thursdays. So I hope that's answered the question. Is there anyone else? Give it another moment. There's something that you want to express or share or comment on. So I hope then that this has been helpful with regards to learning a bit more about what's been transforming for me in the last year, and seeing what's possible for you in terms of operating from a new space, in terms of being able to get your business, your career, your projects, your ideas off the ground without killing yourself in the process, and just having a much more pleasant experience of being you. I mean, you spend all day with you. So I want you to imagine for a moment what life would be like to be in a more grounded space, a more secure state of mind, a more confident place within, and a quieter mind, because that's what's on offer here. And although that might feel completely, what's the word? Like, yeah, I'll get to that later. Let me get on with my decisions and my Facebook adverts. I want you not to dismiss this, okay? I want you to know that I'm bringing something to the table that is fundamental to you enjoying life and business, life and career. Something that I believe will be transformative and save you a lot of suffering in the long run, and have you create and produce and be effective and be productive and even coach, if you're a coach, in a way that is so profoundly fulfilling and impactful for yourself and the people who need you. So again, if this course speaks to you, love to have you. 3 spaces left. I think it sounds like Rhonda is in, so I might be brave and say 2 spaces left, judging by her question. But please go ahead and check it out. And if you want to drop me a line, if there's something specific you want to know, I'm here for you. We start Thursday, 5 p.m. local time. There'll be a recording each week. It will be in the format that to ensure that you can listen in easily. And I look forward to being with you. And thanks for attending, ladies and gents. And here's to your success. Bye for now. Bye.